Hello, welcome to Pitchfork Trading Strategy on Forex. During this webinar, you will find out how to apply the Pitchfork, get to grips with the basics of the PF trading strategy, participate in questions and answer session at the end of the event. First, I'd like to start the session by giving you some information about me. My name is Ihab Jubail. I was born and raised in Egypt. I have a passion for financial trading as well as teaching. I have been trading for a number of years, mainly on Forex and commodities, and in recent years, I have also set up my own signal service and website. I host online webinars and seminars on investment and financial trading regularly, and I provide my service to subscribers worldwide. Now, let's start the session on Pitchfork Trading Strategy on Forex. I will start by explaining the basic concepts of Pitchfork. Pitchfork is based on 3 points that must be drawn on 3 consecutive points. Connecting these 3 points with trend lines give us the ordinary pitchfork as we can see. The basic PF is based on 3 points, and let's say that the most important point is point number 1 that changes direction of the PF. We have 3 common trend lines: upper trend line, median line, and lower trend line. These common lines are very important and for the basic body of the pitchfork. We must understand the use of each line for further use in the strategy. We will use the 2 trend lines, lower and upper, of pitchfork as support and resistance lines. That means the lower trend line acts as support line, and upper trend line acts as resistance trend line. And finally, the median line acts as indication line to indicate the end of price cycle or even when it fails to complete a cycle. I don't want to explain a lot in the typical concept. You just need to understand PF basics that were just explained. And now I will reveal a new strategy. About Pitchfork implementation, Pitchfork tool is available in a lot of trading platforms that are commonly known for most of traders. You will always find it named whether Alan's Pitchfork or Pitchfork, and in MetaTrader 4 platform that we will use named as Andrew's Pitchfork. You can add it simply to your chart from the insert menu, then choose Andrew's Pitchfork as you can see. As I said before, the pitchfork is based on 3 points that must be drawn on 3 consecutive points. All PF systems is based on high-low pivots, means that we will use the high or low candlestick or bar as pivot points to draw our pitchfork. I always use the high-low of previous period of time of the chart history for the currency pair. We may call this the time zones. You may divide your chart to equal periods of time when you use MetaTrader 4 easily by pressing Ctrl Y keys. Talking about time frames, when you press Ctrl and Y, for each 4 time frame, chart will be divided to equal weeks. For each 1 time frame, chart will be divided to equal days. For daily time frame, chart will be divided to equal months. For weekly time frame, chart will be divided to equal years. Same for monthly time frame as well. For traders who don't use MetaTrader 4, you will have to divide these time zones yourself or look for tool like this in your platform. I use these time zones of the chart history to draw my pitchfork based on high-low candlestick or bar of each time zone. I usually use the H4 or H1 time frame for trading. Also, my strategy is typically based on these time frames. It will work also on higher or lower time frames. So we will draw the PF based on previous 3 time zones, and we will always look at the left side of the chart. Means when I use H1 frame, I will look back to 3 time zones before the trading day, and when I use H4 time frame, I will look back 3 time zones, 3 previous weeks in this situation before the trading week. We could write the number of the time zones starting from the left. So 1, 2, 3. We will always look for the high low of the candlestick at these time zones that we will use to do our PF. To draw the PF, we should look first at the time zone from the left, number 3, in the chart that indicates the first pivot, high or low, occurred first. Means we look at time zone number 3 and watch the price movement that occurred first, high or low. As we can see in this chart, in time zone number 3, the high pivot point occurred first, followed by the low pivot point. And this is important. After indication of the first pivot point, whether it is high or low, we will look for point number 1 of the PF at the time zone number 2, opposite to the indicated pivot point in time zone number 3. Means when we indicate that a high pivot occurred first in time zone number 3, we will put point number 1 of PF on the low pivot point in time zone number 2. And if we found low was first in time zone number 3, we will put point number 1 of the PF on the high pivot point of time zone number 2. And then we will put point number 2 and point number 3 of the PF on the high and the low of the last candle in time zone number 3 to complete our pitchfork. Now we know how to draw a PF, so let's move to the types. There are 2 types of our PF strategy: supportive pitchfork and magnetic pitchfork. Each have a specific shape and function that we should understand well to know how it works. We will focus always on the median line of the PF that differentiates between the 2 types. The common type of the PF that we will see a lot in charts is magnetic PF. What makes difference between magnetic PF and supportive PF is the median line of magnetic PF has a breakout by price action, occurred always in time zone number 3. And vice versa to the supportive PF that has held median line in time zone number 3 and has no breakout by price action. The 2 shapes of the 2 types of the PF are, as you can see in the charts. The major difference between magnetic PF and supportive PF is that the median line has a breakout in magnetic PF and no median line breakout in supportive PF. Another main point we should understand a successive breakout to the median line in magnetic PF is when a high or low candle break out the median line. Means a high or low candle pass the median line, whether a high candle in an bullish breakout or a low candle on bearish breakout. Otherwise, we will consider this a supportive PF. So now with reliable PF lines. After we have understood the breakout of the median line or the PF, we will call any median line that has a breakout a reliable line. There are two types of reliable lines, a strong reliable line and weak reliable line. A strong reliable line has a direct breakout, means a price action touches the median line only one time. If it touches the median line more than once, so it would be weak reliable line. It is more common. Here is a new tool that totally depends on reliable line breakout. The magnetic PF breakout is a powerful tool that we'll take apart in our trading system later, and most of our trading decisions will depend on it. Magnetic PF breakout is formed by the breakout of price action to the reliable line. We will represent the magnetic PF breakout as horizontal line drawn from the first touch of price action to the reliable line and extend to the trading day or week that we are trading in. When you draw this horizontal line, as mentioned, you will find it positioned whether under or above the PF of the trading day. Since it's a magnetic tool that attracts the price back to it, we will take the direction of its position to PF as it will attract the price to it. Means when magnetic PF breakout position is under the PF, we will take the direction of the price as down to this breakout, and vice versa. When it's above the PF, we will consider it as up to this breakout. As we can see, we will follow the position of the magnetic breakout line to PF, and this will be our recommended direction. If it's above the PF, we will suggest the long side, and if it is below the PF, we will suggest the short side. In this example, we can see that we don't depend on the direction of reliable breakout, but we depend on position of the breakout line to the PF. And now with my last tool, it is the magnetic trend lines. Did you notice I said in the beginning of this webinar that our pitchfork system depends on 3 time zones, but all we used were only 2 zones, 2 and 3. Now we're gonna use the time zone number 1 to draw a magnetic line. Magnetic trend line has the same concept of attracting the price to it like magnetic PF breakout. We have two types of magnetic lines. A bullish magnetic line that will move with the price up, and the bearish one that will attract the price down. A magnetic line is just a simple trend line that connects highs or lows pivot points of consecutive time zones with a specific breakout to be a valid one. For the bullish magnetic line, we will use 3 consecutive high pivot points of the 3 time zones 1, 2, and 3, and 3 consecutive low pivot points of the 3 time zones for the bearish magnetic line. To consider a magnetic line a successive valid one, a specific breakout must occur perfectly since magnetic line connects whether consecutive highs or lows of time zones together The breakout made by the price action will be one of these highs or lows. We will use the breakout of at the second time zone, whether high or low, as our desired point to make the magnetic line a valid one. Means that if the second point breaks the magnetic line, this will be a valid magnetic line. If the second point fails to break the magnetic line, it will be a failed magnetic line. As we can see in failed magnetic lines, the pivot point of time zone number 2 failed to break the magnetic line, so it is not a valid one and we don't depend on it in trading. Now, let's talk about PF trading or the complete PF trading system. In our PF trading system, we depend on two tools with the pitchfork, the magnetic PF breakout and the magnetic trend line. I have to mention again, we work in 3 time zones, so you have to divide your chart into time zones according to the time frame you use and look for highs and lows of these time zones that all of our system and tools depend on it. For each 4 time frame, you should divide your chart into weeks and look for highs and lows for each week. For each 1 time frame, you should divide your chart into days and look for highs and lows for each day. And for daily time frame, you should divide your chart into months and look for highs and lows of each month. First, we will draw our PF as explained, and then we will determine which type of PF, magnetic or supportive. For magnetic, we will analyze its reliable line, its median line that has a breakout. Then we will determine which type of reliable line is this line, strong reliable line or weak reliable line. Second, we will draw the magnetic PF breakout line, the horizontal line from the first touch of reliable line in time zone number 3 to the trading day, and determine the position of the breakout line to the PF. Then we will save our expected price direction from magnetic PF breakout line. Finally, we will look for a successive magnetic trend line, magnetic line with a breakout of high and low pivot point in time zone number 2 in the same direction of the expected direction of magnetic PF breakout line we have saved before. And our trading decisions will be, if we have strong or weak reliable line at magnetic PF with magnetic trend line in the same direction of magnetic PF breakout, so we can place a trade immediately in the same direction. But if we have a magnetic PF with weak reliable and we could not find a successive magnetic line in the same direction of magnetic breakout, we should then look for a magnetic trend line but in the opposite direction, and if we found a valid one, since we have a weak reliable line, so we could enter in the opposite direction with the direction of the new magnetic trend line. As in this example, we have a magnetic PF with weak reliable line, the direction of magnetic PF breakout was down, but we did not find a valid bearish magnetic trend line, but we found a valid bullish one, so we could place a long trade. Last example of magnetic PF, if we have a strong reliable line and we did not find a valid magnetic trend line in the same direction of magnetic PF breakout, but we found a valid magnetic line in the opposite direction. Since it's a strong reliable line, so we could enter depending only on the direction of magnetic PF breakout. Like at this chart, we have a magnetic PF with strong reliable line. The direction of magnetic PF breakout was up, but we did not find a valid bullish magnetic trend line. What we can see is only a valid bearish magnetic trend line, so we should only place a long trade depending only on the direction of magnetic PF breakout. For supportive PF, there is no reliable line. We will read using only the valid magnetic trend line with the PF. Since there is no breakout in supportive PF, thus no reliable line and no magnetic PF breakout. We will trade just by the direction of magnetic trend lines only. At this example, we have a supportive PF. We will then look for valid bearish or bullish magnetic trend line. If we can find a bullish one, we will go long, and if we find a bearish one, so we will go short. But if we find two valid magnetic trend lines with supportive PF, means valid bearish and bullish, so don't trade. Last but not least, remember that you would need to practice this strategy to get there with it. And I want to remind you, you may like to watch the recorded video of this webinar at binary.com YouTube channel or at my website ihabjobil.com.